Alo. How can you work the word y'all into aloha?
Just stop.
Aloha. Alo, y'all. Y'aloha. 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 Why is that not a word?
It probably is, and it probably means something you don't want it to mean.
Fair enough. Hi, guys. Hi. Any first-timers?
Any first-timers to Hawaii? Not bad.
Anybody been arrested since getting to Hawaii for the first time? No? You evaded it? Thank y'all for coming here. I know it's a heck of a trek, so we are super grateful to get here and to see y'all. Y'all aloha. So first and foremost, thank you. Anybody see this cat sing his brains out?
How about the soothing guitar sounds of Jared?
I need like a Kenny G.
I think your album's dropping next month, isn't it?
Yeah, we're taking the pictures today. That's what the Santa dabbing is for. It's the aloha.
It's never.
What is he? Then what is he doing?
He's doing the hula dance.
I have Vince.
Three giant back muscles. Yeah, no, I can see him.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was fun last night.
That was fun. Yeah. Was everybody there? Was anybody not there? How dare you? Everybody look and point. How dare you? What were you doing? You probably have a great excuse, like, oh, my son. You did what? You went to a Vampire Diaries? Justice League? Okay.
Oh, you went to see Justice League?
Yeah, because that wasn't around today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, you want to make sure you get those one-time movies before they're gone forever.
My eyes are on you. As a matter of fact, she's like, oh, we gotta leave because we're seeing the matinee today. Well, you were missed. I hope everybody rubs it in. Just kidding. Mahalo aloha, alakalalelea. No one says it? Nope. Borha? Borha.
Borha aloha.
Which apparently means 4 different things.
Yeah.
What, Borha?
Yes.
No, really? That's one of the more amazing.
Making up their own language, I love it.
All right. Just jibber jabber.
You want to field some questions, man?
Let's do it. Yeah. All right. Uh-oh, I'm nervous.
Why?
Because
Okay.
I hope you're pointing to me. Hi, I'm Andrea. I'm from Nebraska. My question is, knowing what you know now in life as yourself, not your characters, if you could live in any decade, the age you are now, what would it be and why?
he would love to field this first of all, I think. Carry on.
Any decade?
Any decade.
I would probably say the 60s. However, I would also like to say the 60s 2160.
Woo.
Because I think it's going to be pretty cool and interesting.
They're going to finally have those like floating hoverboards.
I just want a floating car. I want a car. It doesn't have to fly high, I just want it above and off the ground.
At this age, I think the 60s would be a bit, I would hate to be like the old persnickety 35-year-old with all those 17-year-old woodstockers like them and their, so at 70 or whatever he is, I can't imagine being alive in the 60s. No, I've always romanticized the 60s. I love the British invasion. I love the like Detroit Muscle, and I love, my first car was a '69 Camaro, and I love watches from late '60s, early '70s and music. I feel like at this age, it's so difficult. Like, and Genevieve and I actually have this conversation all the time. Because you think about the 50s or the 40s, and you're like, oh, it's like, you kind of romanticize it a little bit. But then you're like, but then you say, like,
It's a real simple question.
there was still, I would say today.
Just pick a number.
I would say today. You know, I think we are further, when you think about the 60s, about the 40s and 50s, there was still segregation, you know, women couldn't vote. Like, there was a lot of stuff that was really messed up. Do you know when women got the right to vote? Do you know when women got the right to vote? Right, do you know when African Americans got the right to vote? Do you know when Rosa Parks said, I will not sell my vote? Point is, there were still, as messed up as the world is now, I think we're further towards unity and equality as ever. Ackles. I'll say right now. I can't take him anywhere. Who's next? I chose that. So. You're done drum soloing.
Yeah.
By the way, he bought these shirts. So if y'all like them, then
Blame me. Yes.
that was two big words in one sentence. Can you use smaller words for Jensen?
You lost me at predicated.
Predicated and assumption are.
I'm kidding.
So, you know that one of the influences that Eric had when he was developing the show was Jack Kerouac's novel On the Road. And based on the fact that he named you guys Dean, and well, technically
Sal.
That he read the edited novel version. So I was wondering, had he read the original, if you guys think that your characters would be any different, whether written differently, or if you guys played them differently, if their names had been Neil and Jack instead?
Oh, funny.
No.
We have a Jack. We've never had a Neil, right? Don't answer that. I don't. I think one of the things I love about the show and the length that it's. Why don't you go to sleep? Just go back to bed. It's gone so long. The characters have taken a life of their own. That's kind of been. It's actually more than y'all know. It's been influenced by y'all. I mean, back in the early days of blogging and whatnot, I know that the writers would pay attention and go like, oh, they don't like this. Blogging websites, whatever it's called.
You said logging. Back in the early days, logging. You want to look at the timberline. Let me give you a clear understanding of where you're headed next.
I think there's a very tangible influence of the fandom in our characters. So I don't think so.
When did you get up this morning?
I got up at 7.
Like 67?
67.
Okay, all right. That's where are we going? Let's
It's my turn. You chose the last
oh,
one. Going way over to the right. With the shoulder that's, yeah, twinsies. What'd you do? Did you tackle Osric? Did you tackle Osric? Fair enough. It's not on. You're gonna have to yell.
Okay, now it's on.
No more yelling. No more yelling.
No more yelling. Okay, so I've been wondering this for a while, and you're talking about the fandom, and I haven't had a chance to write it down yet, so hopefully I get this out correctly. There's a faction of the fandom on social media that is very concerned for you guys, that you are upset or you are insulted by things that happen in the fandom on social media. And, you know, I don't care what anybody's opinion is, everybody's entitled to it, but I'm curious because I want to know, do you guys need protection from the fans?
What's the,
I'm totally serious.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I know you are. No, we need no protection. And opinions are, if you're below 18, a couple years, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, but nobody wants to see yours. Or mine, as a matter of fact. No, don't. No, I vacillate between being offended and remembering that I've probably offended.
Not the right word to use there.
Bungholes. No, if nobody acts on their,
Are you asking if we need protection, like the fans protecting
Who are-
us from other fans, kind of a thing?
or if
Is
we
that-
need protection in general from the
Or
fans.
just whatever, like, fans get on social media and they say, everybody, you have to be nicer to J2 because their feelings are gonna get hurt if you say these things.
Do I need that? No.
Do you need
Do I
protection?
appreciate it? Sure.
Okay, fair enough.
Get well.
I am proud of being a part of something that is somewhat self-regulating. I do like the fact that we kind of keep each other accountable. And when those kind of ugly comments stick their heads up, people are quick to say, come on, not here. And I do appreciate that. Do I need somebody protecting me from those? No, not necessarily, but again, I think that I'm proud that people feel like they need to, or at least do it, so.
Yeah, I appreciate the discourse. And Tony Romo blocked me on Twitter, so I'm aware that I've also, I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. But my point is, I was born and raised a Cowboy fan, so I was upset that he wasn't winning, but he was making all this money, and I'm like, why don't we get somebody who can win? So I vocalized my opinion via 140 characters, now it's 280, I guess. And he didn't like it, so he blocked me, and I was like,
No, because he didn't want to see your bunghole. All right, let's come over.
I respect that people can,
Yes.
Voice
See you waving. Hi.
yeah.
Got a mic right there.
I'm good, okay, never mind. First of all, thank y'all for coming. Always glad
Thank you
to
for
see
coming.
y'all. Second, both of you all were awesome at the Saturday Night Special last night, so thank you for that. And I have had 18 months to work on this question, so.
It's like 2 kids.
It's all right, you'll have 18 months to listen to his answer, so.
I don't mind. So in season 11, Sam and Dean had the opportunity to do something that most people do not, which is to confront God about his seemingly abandoning the human race. And especially for Dean, that was a really big part of why he kind of felt the way he felt about God. So Sam and Dean having confronted God about that, how has that changed how they feel about him and his decisions, or has that changed it at all?
I don't know that it's drastically changed it. I think Dean still feels pretty close to the way he felt. I think it was just something that he wanted to get off his chest. And
There's a big parallel with John, too. There's a big parallel with how they felt about their dad.
well, sure, yeah, there was, that conversation was, certainly had kind of a double-edged sword there. But, at this point with, as God's leading, he's like, you're basically now the stewards of Earth, so to speak. I feel like that was an unfair burden to put on the Winchesters. And then we kind of saw that again in this, well, not the last episode, the one a week ago with Billy. She kind of echoes the same thing.
that, you guys have work to do. So I don't know that Dean feels like more empowered or different or better with his relationship. I think it's more of the same, just more of an understanding of kind of where he stands in the whole grand scheme of things, which I guess they're still trying to figure out as well. So, good question.
Well,
Yeah.
you did a great job in the scene where you had the conversation with God.
The conversation with, yeah.
That was, you killed it. It was
Thank you. Well, I got to give Rob a lot of credit too, because he did some really intricate and delicate decisions with what he was doing there. I thought it was very, very strong. So yeah, that's fun. I remember that scene very vividly, and it was one of those scenes where when you're finished, you feel good about hanging your hat on that one. You're like, you know what, that was two guys.
And you changed some stuff. You upped the ante in a few lines. Like, there were a few scenes where it was kind of written as a conversation, and he really upped it. He's like, Dean, and maybe from Jensen, would really kind of go aggressive here. Like, why don't we? Like, I feel like he'd be more emotional as opposed to angry, or he yada yada. So it did click into a part of you that it hadn't really been touched upon.
So those are the fun times when you find something that may not be on the page and it comes alive when you start working together. That's one of the reasons we do what we do. We enjoy it so much. So
That's the main reason.
yeah.
You're both awesome.
You're awesome. It takes one to know one. All right. Yes. Kmart upscale.
Why are you scared of my question?
No, I did.
Oh, you're scared of...
No, I said to you. I said upscale is Kmart.
If your career ever goes the same path as Ian Ziering and you end up in a Sharknado,
Yes, please.
what would be your weapon of choice to defeat the Sharknado?
The demon blade. You know Ian all?
I've met him.
Yeah, I've met him a few times. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, they're great
That wasn't the
movies.
question.
Wait, what did you say? Demon blade, doy. Yeah, it's bound to be able to kill.
C4.
See? Good answer.
They do. As the shark's chasing you, like put C4 on, dial in, and like explode it when you're far enough away to not be a part of the blast radius. Yeah, got it. Cool. What would you do?
I really like Tara, what's her face's chainsaw arm.
A chainsaw arm.
Yeah, her chainsaw
Sure.
arm. She pulls it out.
Because you know what? It's also really good at Thanksgiving.
What's really funny is
Turkey's carved.
the accent confused me because there is an R in arm, but not in chainsaw. So when I heard chainsaw arm, I was like, chainsaw arm. But it was a chainsaw arm. So I got it. Chainsaw arm. I got it.
Chainsaw
Love you.
arm.
Chainsaw arm. Got it. Yeah. Understood.
Thank you.
What did you talk about how nice Ian Ziering is?
He's a nice guy. Just like,
He does very well at it.
he's really nice. All right, you act. A-hole.
Yeah.
So
Oh, God.
when I drink, I tend to get chatty and I make all these elaborate plans for the future that I'm going to do with all my best friends and travel everywhere.
Sounds
And if
normal.
I'm at someone's house, I tend to, clean up a little. Could you tell what each other do when you guys drink? You're welcome.
The last time I said it, I got in trouble. So.
I will.
Defecate. What did you
I don't think that's what she said.
Never mind.
No, I mind.
Okay.
Desiccated.
All right. That's enough.
There's a big, English language is so funny because there's a big difference between defecated Wienerlinks and desiccated Wienerlinks. And I just realized it right now. Sorry, Tammy. It's true though. There's
He
just a few letters.
eats
I do. I eat a lot.
like ravenously. My favorite example of this was years ago, and we were housemates in season 4. I had the whole basement. He had the house. It was his house, and I was like, he's like, hey, why don't you stay in the basement until you figure out where you want to get an apartment? And I was like, all right. So 1 month turned into the entire season. But anyway, one night we came home after being out to dinner and had a few drinks, and he's like, all right, I'm just probably gonna find something else to eat. I'm like, we just ate dinner. He's like, yeah, I'm hungry. I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed. So the next morning I wake up, I go upstairs to the kitchen, I open the fridge, and I'm like, weren't there some marinating ribs? I'm pretty sure there were some marinating ribs that were supposed to be cooked today.
Marinating, not marinated.
Not
cooked.
Ribs in a...
That Tom Welling had brought over, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna cook up those ribs today. It's like football Sunday. I was like, woohoo, where did they go? Jared? Yeah? Where were those ribs that Tom gave us? I ate them last night. All of them? Yeah. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm a little sick.
A little off.
We were shooting the...
Those weren't cooked. What? Those were raw. I thought that tasted a little funny. And you ate them all? Yeah,
they're
they
pretty
didn't taste
good.
funny enough.
We were shooting the Wishing Well
Not
episode.
kidding, it was like a full slab of ribs.
It was several slabs of Maui ribs. Maui ribs, Jesus. Close to Maui.
Ta-da!
And I didn't buy them, I didn't purchase them, so I didn't know if they were cooked or not, but they looked dark. And I was like,
Because they're marinating in like sauce.
Maui sauce. So I ate them, yes. We got to set in Squamish, which is an hour drive. And driving around when you've had 8 ounces of uncooked red meat is not a lot of fun.
I got sick.
We were shooting-
Just the thought of what he did, I was like,
If you watch the scene, it's the wishing well scene when the penny is stuck to the bottom of the wishing well and we can't pull it out. So that restaurant, we shot all the scenes that day, and I got to set and I was obviously ashen-faced and pale, and they were like, go to your trailer, call the doctor, get him some Pedialyte. And I'm barfing and it's an ugly sight. And so all the stuff to Jensen in the scenes is with a photo double, and then finally, like 6 hours, this is one of the joys of filming. I'm grotesquely ill in my trailer, like shivering, with a B vitamin shot to the butt, and don't. And then
we don't need the details.
Finally around like 2 p.m., I'm like, okay, I guess I can function now. I'm like, cool, get to set. I was like, all right, so I shot all my stuff that same day. But yeah, that was the season 4.
So he eats raw ribs, that's one thing.
Yeah. He becomes,
Long story short.
he gets into a funny, almost like, he kind of becomes like normal Jared, where he's like, everything's just kind of like big old smile, kind of a little absent in the eyes, like having a good time. Everything's funny and everything's kind of like, so.
I get happy.
Yeah, he gets happy. He gets pretty giddy.
It's not a bad thing.
I get hungry, he gets
Better
happy.
than angry.
Yeah, no kidding. Was that on me? I'm gonna go way far to the back left. I see a red and white shirt. You're pointing at yourself. Yes. I went as far back to the right. I'm doing like extremes. Like the farthest.
Hi.
Hi, my question's for you, Jensen.
Yes, I'm gonna take a break.
Love you too, Jared.
Love you back.
So, your character as Dean is sometimes considered "quote unquote" a womanizer. How do you see him? Because I don't see him as that. I don't think the term womanizer fits Dean.
You're the one who just said
When
it.
it comes to women.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't think that he is, I mean, when was the last time we've seen Dean
Nizing.
nizing a woman? Yeah, I think a womanizer is something that someone does
It's a
on a
Britney Spears
consistent
song,
basis.
not
Just ignore him. And I don't think that that's something that he, is on his mind all the time. I think that that's, when it's convenient, it's convenient, and when it's not, it's not. So yeah, I don't think he's out there
I've always seen
hunting on a daily basis. What's
I've
that?
always seen us being respectful too.
It's Brittany.
It's his ringtone.
on his phone.
Yeah, so does that answer the question? You're welcome. Okay, let's go, how about, all
So
right.
many hands.
All right, farthest back, yeah.
You're pointing at the ceiling. We're gonna go over there.
Just call my shots.
Hi.
Hi.
So my question's mostly for Jensen, but Jared
Thank God.
is very welcome to answer as
I'm
well.
gonna go do Britney Spears again.
Yeah. So you've directed quite a few times on the show by now, and you always do an excellent job.
Thank you.
I have noticed though that you always seem to direct the same writers. So I was just wondering, if you get to direct again, is there a particular writing team or writer that you'd like to direct?
Yeah, it's, that's by no necessary design. It just kind of happens that way. Generally, the way it works is our showrunner, whoever that might be at the time, right now it's Andrew, it was Jeremy, Chrissy originally, and Sarah. So they generally solely write the first episode of the season and generally write the last episode of the season. And then in between that, they kind of help manage the other staff writers and their scripts and keep everything kind of moving in the right direction. So when I direct, I'm generally directing the third episode in the season, which by that time it's kind of the first lineup of scripts are divvied out to certain writing staff. And it just kind of always works out that I get Brad and Eugenie's script, or at least most of the time. Has it always been theirs? I think it has always been theirs. And that's just...
That can also be a bit by design, that if they know you're directing, because Brad and Eugenie usually write mythology scripts, as opposed to like one-offs. Like episode 5 of this year, Advanced Mythology or whatever, was more of a one-off, even though we had Billy and we had some mythology. But really it was kind of one of those standalones that if you've never seen Supernatural, you could watch and kind of appreciate. But I think Brad and Eugenie...
Yeah, and Eugenie is Bob Singer's wife, and, I've got a really good relationship with her, and so I think she likes writing for directors that she knows. And I've got a pretty decent sense of the show and its tone. So I think that's just one less thing that they have to worry about as writers is getting their tone across to a director that's coming in. So, but they're fantastic writers. There's a reason that they're still on the show and still doing what they do. But sure, I'd love to, we have great writers. Any script that I get the chance to direct, I'd love it. So, yeah, we've got some really, really good writers this year. I think I'm really liking this season.
This year.
And I know everybody's really excited, back home and down in LA, writing this stuff, and it feels good this year. I feel like we've really got something that we're sinking our teeth into, and we've got some surprises coming up for you guys. I know, like the next episode, next 2 episodes, we've got some interesting characters being introduced and some interesting characters coming back. So I think you guys are gonna be in for a treat. That I think does it for us right now. We will chat with you later. Don't worry.
Okay.
Thank you guys for being here. Aloha.